My first guest is a filmmaker who's directed over 1,000 national TV commercials and 3 documentaries on stand-up comedy. And while those are impressive credits, he reminded me that in 1986 at the Punchline Comedy Club in Atlanta, he opened for Bruce Gold, which I'm sure put him on the path to success. Please welcome my pal Jordan Brady. Hey, Jordan.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
Thanks for being on the show.
What a great audience you have. The set is beautiful. A view.
This is good. We got this at the home host your own show kit from Toys R Us when they closed down.
When they closed down.
We got a couple of them at discount.
So this is very special to be here. I got this new for the
Did
for the
you
shoot.
Really?
Well, the T-shirt.
You know, you are allowed to remove that unless you're just proud about being XL, right?
Well, I'm proud about XL, and I wanted to let you know that I spared no expense to be a guest on the show.
Okay, yeah. When I said I was going to have a guest who's really big in the industry, I guess maybe you meant no. Okay.
Wow, 1985. You killed, by the way.
Did I really?
Oh, you did comedy. You did magic.
What?
I want to say you had like a scantily clad helper. No.
That was after the show.
That was after. You didn't have a stage.
Well, you know what I did? I did a trick, and it was part of my comedy act. Now, I don't know if people at home know, but years ago, when stand-up comedy was really becoming a thing, magicians were looked down upon as like, what did you buy your act at the store and learn, right? Yeah, no. So what I did is I put all the magic away and then did stand-up, and at the end of my act, I would do this trick called the Amazing Psychic Toaster. And I'd have a woman from the audience come up, and then she would pick a card, and then magically we would electrocute ourselves with a fork in the toaster, and then the card image would be singed into the piece of bread.
I saw you at the Magic Castle last year, and you did the Magic Toaster.
Yes.
And I brought people from Saatchi and Toyota. We were doing a big commercial.
Yeah.
And you did the Magic Toaster, and to this day, when we're on set, they're like, the Magic Toaster. Like, remember that guy, Bruce? He did the Magic Toaster? I'm like, come on. And so, by proxy, I am cool because of your trick, the Magic Toaster.
That's right, because not a lot of magicians use small appliances, and yet I found a way to work it in. You know, I remember my days from the road, and I'll tell you what sticks out vividly in my mind is getting up in a hotel, because you would drive from gig to gig to gig, right? So it's like one-nighters, a string of one-nighters. They called us road warriors.
I got booked a lot during the comedy boom, like when I opened for you.
Yeah.
Because I had a reliable car.
Right.
That I could drive you to the next gig. They're like, you're not that funny, but you can drive the headliner.
It was the opener who usually drove the middle act and the headliner from gig to gig to gig, because the headliner was big enough to fly.
He flew from city to city. I would actually make waffles in the hotel lobby.
Get out.
And stuff them in my cargo pants for the road.
The breakfast bar in the morning, and they'd have a waffle maker, and then
no syrup. Don't put the syrup on.
If you've learned nothing else, do not put syrup on the waffle before placing it in your pocket. These are valuable tips. But you know, let's move on to the really formative part of your career, which is the commercial directing.
Yeah, I love commercials.
And that's not a typo. Over 1,000 commercials.
Over 1,000 commercials. Wow. Yes, I've been very, very blessed. I love commercials. Because I love filmmaking, and I do comedy, so I love telling a joke in 30 seconds.
Right.
And I also have extreme ADHD.
Do you really?
Yes.
So, do your clients have unrealistic expectations about?
If you thought working with club owners or dealing with hecklers was hard, try to be on set with a kind of a square client.
Right, yeah. They're from the company, right?
They're from the company. Like, even someone fun, like, I don't want to name names, but their logo is the Golden Arches.
Sure.
Okay? So I'm doing a commercial for their Happy Meal, and we have this fantastical set with animals and children. It's like a fairyland.
Yeah.
And the client looks at me and says, Jordan, with this kind of budget, why couldn't we afford a real unicorn?
Wow.
And I said... And you have to think a minute, and you can't come back with a snarky answer.
He's the big, you can't insult him.
This woman was the boss.
Right.
Yeah. And I said, well, they're all extinct.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So what are you going to do?
Good
and she
save.
went, oh.
Good save.
Because the pony's got the cardboard horn, and she's like, just get a real one.
Right. Well, how much are we paying? So
I'll give you another one.
Get a real unicorn in here.
I'll give you another one.
Yeah.
Working with the Ford people.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cars have the talking feature. You talk and Siri talks back, or whoever the car talks back and answers your questions. So we had, and I thought this was a brilliant way to showcase that feature. We had a parrot that would talk to the car, and we put it in a simulator. on a stage.
Right.
And the client said, Jordan, how is the parrot going to learn its lines?
Right.
I said, we got him a dialect coach.
And I think you have one more story about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, so I did. Yeah. I did these spots with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
First of all, I have everything ready.
Yeah.
I have every possible brand of bottled water on a stool next to a mark. Mm-hmm. I had a body double to light the stage so that when he came in, we would be ready to go. Mm-hmm. He couldn't say, I don't drink Fiji, and walk out. Everything's there.
Right.
He comes in 5 minutes early, and we had been waiting. Right. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Schwarzenegger's here. Sir, you'll stand here, you'll talk into the camera. And he goes, but it looks like you have a few more things to do. And I said, well, if you don't mind, you are early. And he goes, okay. And he gets right in my face and he goes, I'll be back. And he winked at me. And he winked at me like he came early on purpose just so he could say, I'll be back, and wink. And I go, he said it, and we all clapped.
Right.
So now I've got to kill 5 minutes while the crew gets all the final touches in.
Yeah.
And I go, Arnold, do you mind if we go over the script with you? I have a few notes. Like, I didn't realize I slipped into my bad Arnold Schwarzenegger imitation. He did not flinch. He goes, yeah, let's go over it. That would be good. And I go, so here you're talking to the camera and you say, these are some great tweets. And I think it would be funny if you said, I really like these very clever retweets. And he goes, what is a retweet? And I said, well, a retweet is when you hit the button to retweet without writing. He goes, so there's no effort in a retweet, therefore it is very comical that I would say such a thing. Like, he dissected the comedy.
Right.
And got it, and never once said, could you stop talking like me? I'm really tired of your shenanigans.
Right. I guess he's so used to it, right?
He was the nicest guy ever.
Yeah, that's a great story. Yeah. Now, I know not just the films and the commercials, but also the documentary.
Documentaries, so
you
much
started
fun.
with one called I Am Comic.
I Am Comic.
Right.
So I'm doing these commercials, and Google comes around, and YouTube comes around, so I have advertising agency people saying, hey, we found you wearing a lime green suit with long hair doing jokes on Comedy Central.
Right.
Like, they saw my old comedy clips. And what was it like being a comedian? And I would talk about the magic toaster bit that I did on the road.
Wow.
That I stole
Sounds
from
familiar.
That I stole from Bruce that next week.
What?
And I would tell him what it was like to be a comedian. And after about 7 times, I go, I can't tell this story anymore. I'm going to make a documentary.
Right.
So it's on the art and craft and occupational hazards of being a stand-up comedian.
And you also did one called I Am Road Comic. You followed comics on the road. And yourself, you kind of relaunched your stand-up career briefly?
No, it was a mistake. So I make I Am Comic.
Yeah.
It does really well. It's a cult fave, right?
Yeah.
On Showtime and Netflix. And you can get it on iTunes or jordanbrady.com. And comics, new comedians in this era, would start emailing me going, hey, do you want to do my show? And I would say, no, I don't do comedy anymore.
Right.
I'm in remission. I'm a director.
Right. Yeah. XL, I believe. Yeah, right.
And that's how I live.
Right.
Extra large.
So
I said, I don't do it. I turned down their shows. And after about 6 or 7 times, just like the YouTube clips, I go, okay, I'll do your show. So I start doing it. And a comedian, Don Barnhart, calls me up. He goes, Jordan, I want to book you for a weekend at Jack Diddley's. It's this club on the road. And I go, Don, I don't do comedy. I make the movies about it. And then I went, no, I'll do it.
Right.
So that became I Am Road Comic, where I went and did stand-up for a week at a very horrible bar. There was Jello wrestling before the show.
What?
Word of goodness.
You know, if you want to see good comedy, find some place that has Jello on the menu.
Or any gelatinous thing that you can wallow around in.
There's now the third, and let me call it the trilogy, would be I Am Battle Comic. And I really want people to know about this because this is an amazing project.
Is my favorite. This is my favorite. It's very personal.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
So I got invited based on, kind of like how I was the opener because I had a reliable car.
Yeah.
I was invited because I made documentaries and I had a camera and I could do some jokes. The Armed Forces Entertainment and Don Barnhart again, the comedian in the book, he said, well, come with me to Afghanistan and we'll do jokes for the troops and you can make a movie about it.
Wow.
And I said, yes.
Yes, yes.
And it was the most incredible experience because, you know, politics aside, right? We all hate war.
Right.
Our troops are out there.
That's right.
And the people really paying the price are their families back home. Your mom's deployed in Iraq or Afghanistan, or your dad's been on a couple of tours. The family's back home. And I got to see that. Like these troops that are out there, volunteers, they need to laugh.
Right.
To break up the monotony, to break up the hardships that they go through with their buddies and everything. So to be of service by telling some jokes. And the magic toaster killed. They love the magic toaster.
But tell them about the proceeds from that film, because this is a lovely part.
So I got back home and I've got this documentary and I thought, you know, why don't we go around the country and show it and we'll give 100% of the proceeds to different charities. So like Semper Fi Fund or Team Rubicon, they're all veteran volunteers that go to disaster relief areas. And the one that really hits my heart is the National Military Family Association, because they'll send kids to camp, their parents are deployed, and they'll help reunite families when they come home and integrate the troops, the soldier back into, or the seaman or the Marine, or, you know, back into the airman, back into the family life. Which would cut down on PTSD, hopefully. You know, you've seen the atrocities of war. Now you're back in Paris, Texas. Right. You got to integrate. So to this day, I am committed to giving the proceeds from the film, a DVD, a download, to the charities.
Right. Now, while we're talking about it, let me just say that you'll find about those films and more at jordanbrady.com. But before we go, I want to tell them about the book. Yes, he's also an author. He's written a book called Commercial Directing Voodoo.
So I'm giving away the keys to the kingdom with the book. Right. The proceeds from the book go directly into my pocket. No charity whatsoever.
Because he needs a few more T-shirts. And well, you know what? I want to tell people who are interested in directing, commercial directing, and film directing that Jordan has a boot camp. I believe it's August 25th of 2018.
I do it about three times a year. Right? It's a seminar on how to break into commercials.
And of course, I love it when comedians bring on their own hot sauce. And you have your own hot sauce. Now it's called, it's a garlic serrano hot sauce. And tell us the name of the hot sauce.
Oh, so delicious.
Yes. And in Spanish?
Oso means bear. I don't actually make the hot sauce. I more harvest it. It's made in America by wild bears.
Really?
And $1 from every bottle goes to National Military Families Association.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I understand that it is so hot that after you eat it, you will sound like you can speak Spanish. Because when your tongue and lips are that burned, you can't say jalapeno. It comes out. I don't know.
It's a 7. It's a 7 on the heat index.
It's a 7 on the heat index. It's not one of those things where your hair catches on fire. But I did get to work in my little joke. So, and you've been a lot of fun on the program. Thank you, Jordan Brady, so much for joining us on the Bruce Gold Show.
We love the show.
Thank you.
Everybody, write in. Can they write? Do people write?
I think
I don't know what they do, but this is a great show.
They can Facebook it and tweet it, and for the right amount, we come and do it in your own living room, but we'll talk more about that later. We'll be back with more of the Bruce Gold Show after
this. My favorite 30 minutes of every day is starting with my sauna. For a stressful day, this is probably one of the best things you could ever get. An amazing platform for natural healing. Oftentimes when people do the weight loss programs, they start feeling like a little yucky during it. If you create or use the infrared sauna, for instance, and you're detoxing along with the weight loss, you won't feel yucky, the weight will start peeling off. If you want to learn more about infrared technology, contact us directly. The information is on the bottom of the screen.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lee Aaron Keneally, and I have some exciting news to tell you. I have launched my book, The Cancer Revolution. Do you know that cancer takes 10 years to develop in your body? That means you have 10 years of opportunity to prevent and reverse early cancer. The Cancer Revolution. It will empower you to change your life and turn this disease around.
Being healthy and happy isn't always easy. Stress at home, at work, trouble sleeping, toxins in the environment. Even healthy foods can be lacking vital micronutrients due to chemicals and depleted soil. American Nutraceuticals' proven solutions can help detoxify, reduce stress, and guide the way to optimum health. Balance, restore, rejuvenate naturally with American Nutraceuticals. Available from leading healthcare professionals and at 888vitality.com.
Hi, my name is Tom Julian, the author of The Shepherd. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people who have felt like the title character of The Shepherd, Tony Castanelli. Alone, no family to count on, friends are becoming few and far between. But God has a way of looking down on those lonely hearts and somehow in His own beautiful way bring people into our lives who can help us find the direction and purpose that we all need and the happiness we all desire. This is that story. It's a simple read, but it's an inspiring moment. Buy yours today.
Patients ask me every single day about water. But water from your tap? Let's get real. Please, please take care of yourself, save yourself by getting Echo. This machine will put in the activated hydrogen molecule that stimulates the anaerobic organisms that we now know has everything to do with your life. Do yourself a favor, get good clean water powered with Echo.
Our next guest is a world champion magician, the curator of the iconic Fleet Science Center, and co-host of the Science Channel show SciJinx. He's also responsible for the Impossible Science program in learning centers throughout Southern California, where he's literally turned wonder into an academic tool for STEM education, which, as any kid will tell you, is science, technology, engineering, and math. Please welcome the man whose amazing work stands for changing education itself, the curator of Impossible Science, Mr. Jason Latimer.
Thank you. Hey, Jason. That was the best intro ever. Thank you very much.
It was like a professional host and everything.
I can't wait to meet this guy.
Hey, we're really delighted that you came on the show. I'm super excited that you're here because I know a little bit about what you do, and I know that your job is the impossible, and you harness wonder to serve education. Tell us about that.
Well, the best way to explain it is when you think about the next cure and the next technology and the next change, it will come from somebody asking a question that's never been asked.
Right.
It's wonder that's changing the world. Right question changes everything. That's how we discovered flight, light bulb, whatever.
Right.
It makes you ask, why hasn't anyone taken the time to create an academic platform designed to inspire wonder? Like, why, if we know the right question changes everything, why are we stomping out creativity in our schools? So it turns out magic seems to be the best tool I've ever found to inspire wonder.
Right, it's super engaging for kids. It makes them want to be a part of it, something special.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so it's taking that instant, inspiring somebody to ask a question and taking that and making that a learning opportunity, and to do it as fast as possible with as many kids as possible, which is why I'm in science centers.
Now, I know that you've reached hundreds of thousands of kids, and you have plans to reach more. Tell us about Impossible Science.
So Impossible Science was originally started with this idea of, can we inspire wonder in a science center? And first we moved my stage show from back in the day when I was just a magician to see if we could nurture curiosity. And then from there, we ended up building festivals and labs. We started building experiments where kids blow their own minds while I'm not there. But they have courses in invisibility, but they learn about how light works or how the eye works. And they learn about flight and levitation, but they're learning the physics of flight.
Right.
And no tricks, like real magic.
This is like real hard science, but it looks like magic.
It looks like magic, but it's real magic.
Right.
It's not a trick.
Right.
And now we've opened that up to science centers throughout Southern California. And so now we have a stage show, the labs, the festivals, and then Comic-Con HQ stepped in and they said, could we expand it to older age ranges, like 18 to 35? And then we started showcasing scientists around the country that are challenging impossible with a great question. So invisibility through optics, or bionic suits through engineering. And you're finding all these people that are changing what is possible because they know they're capable of asking a question that could change the world.
Right. All starts with that question.
All of it, and then all together, Impossible Science is just more than a show. It's a festivals, it's labs, it's a thought process, more like a philosophy of learning.
Kids can find it online. They can go to the events and participate. They can go to the Science Center and be a part of it.
Absolutely, we have events throughout the year. The Impossible Science Festival of LA grew into the City of STEM for LA, which is officially now the LA Science Festival. So that kind of ballooned a little.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorite things, and tell me if I'm getting this wrong, I believe it's called a non-Newtonian fluid.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Oobleck. It's more than one state of matter. So, non-Newtonian.
So you make like a pool of this stuff, and then it's like people can walk on it, but then it's liquid, and they can also put their hand down in it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's basically, if you were to push on it slowly, it will act like a liquid. But if you were to hit it, it will react and become a solid. So if you walk, yeah, and most people make it in a bowl. We get like 800 pounds of this stuff. We make vats of it, and I do a 4-foot by 8-foot by 1 foot deep vat of this. If you walk, you're not going to make it.
Right.
If you run, you'll make it.
Right across.
Yeah, and if you walk and you don't sink, it's probably because there's a kid underneath you that's the first guy to make it. But it's so funny because you get these kids thinking they're so funny by standing still and sinking, but they don't realize that if they pull hard up, it's the exact opposite happening, and then it's a solid now trying to pull up against it.
Wow.
And so you're really trapped in there. And so we have this line for cleaning and a line for taking off your shoes and washing your feet off, and then we have a lifeguard. We actually have a lifeguard.
Let me just, for the people who may be worried at home, it's not deep, okay? It's not deep, so it's not like they're going to empty it out and find something horrible. So now, we all know the name Elon Musk and what an amazing innovator he is. And you and he, aside from being people who innovate, you have something in common. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's very flattering to be amongst any of these guys' names, but there's a thing called the USA Science and Engineering Festival. It's the largest science festival in the country. 370,000 people show up in one weekend in Washington, D.C. And this year I was the closing keynote speaker of that festival to talk about impossible science and education through curiosity. And the speakers before us include Bill Nye and Elon Musk and just amazing people that want to promote education. And to create something on this level that in DC they're saying this might be something to pay attention to was a dream come true. And we're already talking about what we're going to do with the next one. So
fantastic.
Bless you.
Hey, now I know all of this came about originally because as a magician, you asked a question that I don't think anybody ever asked before. Very famous trick called cups and balls. It's one of the most ancient tricks in magic. And you decided to do it in a completely new way.
Yeah, the idea was, could we do the oldest trick in the book of follow the ball, but under clear glass cups, but not give it away?
Right. Like, nothing is exposed. It really looks like magic.
Yeah, watch it vanish from one cup and appear in another. And at the time, I was at UC Santa Barbara, and I joke around, I turned that campus into the largest magic manufacturing company in the world. And it just ran from department to department to department saying, I need help trying to figure out this idea.
Right.
Could we do it?
Yes.
And the game plan was, if we could find the right question, we could make it possible.
Right. And you did, and you won a very prestigious award in magic.
Yes, the Grand Prix World Champion of Magic.
Wow. Well.
Yeah.
You were the Grand Prix winner here.
Well, it was an amazing experience, but the joke around, I won when I was in college, and a magic trick was actually trying to graduate college while still on the tour, going around the world.
Right.
And and I ended up just really appreciating how to use science in magic. And when I won the World Championships, the first thing that went through my mind is, this is a good idea. I'm just going to keep studying science.
Let's go in that direction. We're going to have you back on, because there's a whole other avenue. The internet doesn't work in a way that it could to be at its most optimal level. And this guy knows how to fix it. But that's another episode right now. Let me thank Jason so much for coming on the show. It is the Bruce Gold Show, and we are delighted you are here. And do check out Impossible Science. Thanks for joining us.